The all-new vibe, Houston's culture, powered by KTSU 90.9, The Evolution. Michele McKnight here on this Women Crushing It Wednesday. And my special guest tonight is a name that some of you may be familiar with, Miss Symone Redwine, who is one of the, do you call it contestants? Is
cast members.
Okay, cast members of Ready to Love, which is, it's a fairly new
we're in the third
show.
season. It is a reality love and dating show on the Oprah Winfrey Network. It's produced by Will Packer, and it's on Friday nights on OWN at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern.
And there you go with your promo. Now, of course, we'll get into what your experience was like on a reality dating hookup makeup type of show. But one thing that a lot of people here in the Houston area may not know about you is that you are an attorney.
Yes.
That's pretty dope. And I think people tend to, look at a woman who just has her sugar honey iced tea together, has a pretty face, got her body all right, and they don't think, oh, she's the boss chick at the end of the day when it's all said and done. But that is you.
It is me. And part of the reason I'm as successful as I am is they underestimate me, and I come over prepared at all times.
That's what's up. And so how long have you actually been practicing law?
I've been practicing for 12 years. Yeah, going on 13. I grew up in Dallas, and I went to the University of Pittsburgh for undergrad. I studied finance because I knew I wanted to be a lawyer, and then I went to Cornell Law School on scholarship.
Okay, and is there a specific type of law that you work with? Okay.
I primarily focus on accident and injury, and then as well as expungement. So my expungement practice, my website there is myrecordisclean.com. And it's 214-ERASE-IT is the phone number. And I handle expungements or sealing your record anywhere within Texas.
Oh, wow.
And then I also handle accident, injury, and death cases, product liability, products that kill, innocent Black children and so forth. I do that as well. And you can find out more about that practice. You can give me a call at 855-4-SYMONE. And I spell Symone SYMONE.
And it's Symone Redwine.
Yes, Redwine is my real last name.
That's crazy.
It's
not crazy. It's unique. Let's put it that way.
Unique.
So how far back in history
Slavery,
and lineage does that go?
Slavery. I say it's the only good thing we got from slavery. That's it. That's it.
Oh, Lord, not that.
I know. My mom is like, stop telling people that.
Oh, my God.
But, yeah, when I was a little kid, people would be like, that's a nice name. That's a nice stage name. What's your real name? I was like, Mama, what's a stage name? That's weird. Sometimes I'll go to concerts, and I remember one time I went to Will Call, and they were like, name, and I was like, Symone Redwine. They were like, not your stage name, ma'am. I was like, look, blame the flavor on her.
Right? Well, at least you didn't have to be creative and come up with one, later on down the line. But we have Symone Redwine in studio tonight for Women Crushing It Wednesday. She's going to be helping me co-host here for the next couple of hours. So make sure to keep your radios locked in here to the All New Vibe, Houston's culture, powered by KTSU 90.9. We're vibing out here with Houston's culture, the evolution of KTSU 90.9. Michele McKnight here with Women Crushing It Wednesday, brought to you by Bubble Tap Houston. And I actually wanted to have a glass of bubbly in here for you, Symone. And it's not just because your last name is Redwine, but we wanted to cheers with some champagne because this has been a monumental weekend,
honey,
in history. Thankfully, it only took, 80,000 hours for them to, well, actually, no, they still haven't completed counting the ballots, but they've counted enough ballots to project that Joe Biden is going to be the next president of this year, United States. Thank God for that. Cheers to that in a big way. And all I wanted to do this past weekend was drink, and unfortunately,
celebrate.
To celebrate. I mean, everybody from Spike Lee to Chrissy Teigen, John Legend, everybody in New York, I don't know about Houston so much, but Atlanta, Detroit, all of the huge determining factor cities, in the battleground states, were just popping bottles in the streets.
Yes.
I saw some people's timelines on Instagram that said that they went to go buy champagne in the liquor store. They only had 2 bottles left on the shelves.
Oh, that's joy. It makes me miss living in New York when I used to live at practice up there. Cause they got with it. They got lit with it.
They sure did.
They're tired of this tyranny. This is what it looks like when a dictator relationship ends. This is what it looks like.
It does.
And if he don't like it, you know what? The world should not be celebrating the fact that you get fired from your job. That should tell you are doing a terrible job. Terrible with a you.
Did you see the meme that went viral where it really wasn't even a meme? It was just a statement that said, live your life in such a way that when you lose your job, the entire world is not dancing in the streets. Like, and of course, I had to repost everything. And then yes, the blogs and yes, social media was on when this past weekend. I saw several entertaining reposts, reenactments, Avenger remakes, online, making fun of the entire election process and how we're combating all of this stuff as far as politics go, which is nice to lighten the mood. But people I don't know if you got a chance to hear the stand-up that Dave Chappelle did on Saturday Night Live.
I stayed up late to watch that, girl.
Yes, and I saw someone make a statement saying that, he really has done a really great job of just kind of, he's almost like what's the word that I'm looking for? He's not just a comedian anymore. He's
like a social commentator, political commentator, almost.
And just a prolific person in general that really is able to leverage his platform, to hold people's attention, give you the truth while having, kind of like that comical undertone underneath. But I think that he said what was necessary in the moment. And I even see, people always go back on social media and comment underneath something and be like, as a white person, I just, I really was able to tap into what he was saying, and I felt that in the bottom of my soul, and I'm like, wow. I said,
that's a talent. That's a gift.
Yeah, it definitely is. But hopefully, here in this transition process, even though the current President Donald Trump says he has no intentions to leave the White House or to concede by any means. Hopefully we as a people are able to put politics aside, to be able to come together as one. And cheers at the end of the day, we have, which we were, of course, in here debating, the actual pronunciation, of Kamala's name, because it seems to constantly be a battle of people pronouncing it the wrong way. But hey, at the end of the day, we broke glass ceilings, and we have a vice president-elect that is not only a woman, but a black woman in the White House, well, soon to be White House, and that is Miss Kamala Harris. So cheers to that. I know the AKAs are strutting all over the country right now.
Yeah, my sister is one, and my cousin's sister is another, and I'm going to have to hear them.
They're going to claim her from now until the end of eternity.
And I said, well, yeah, congratulations. Y'all got to beat until y'all together.
Yes. Well, we're going to give you your props at the time, of course, but, cheers to women doing great things. That, of course, is, again, what Women Crushing It Wednesday is all about. So we're going to have more with Symone Redwine coming up here on the All New Vibe, Houston's Culture, powered by KTSU 90.9. Michele McKnight here on the All New Vibe on this Women Crushing It Wednesday, powered by Bubble Tap Houston. I have Symone Redwine here, who is one of the cast members of Ready to Love. Right? I said it right. Cast members, right? Not
absolutely.
Contestant?
Cast member.
Okay, I got you. So I know that on this season, they specifically were bringing people on the show that were from Houston, but you actually kind of have made a transition to Houston from Dallas. So, I got to ask you, how's that experience been? Because it's always this constant back and forth with H-Town over Dallas, Dallas over H-Town, Texans over the Cowboys.
Absolutely. So I've always loved Houston more, period. Point blank. I've always felt like Houston was a great place to live if you're single. And then if you want to raise your kids, for me, Dallas would be better because that's where my parents are. That's where I have my support system. So I never had any intention of moving back to Dallas without a man, period. But after practicing law in New York for a number of years, it was just the easiest opportunity because I had a built-in referral network, basically, because of my family ties. Well, beginning of this year, I decided that I was like, you know what? I'm 37, and I had just been putting off being in a serious relationship because I'm an overachiever. So I was like, no, first I need to get a house. And then I need to get, a certain number of revenue from my firm. And basically I accomplished all that. And I'm like, you know what, Symone, you just keep moving your own doggone goalposts. Just go for it. And we realized every time I come visit Houston, I get me a new boyfriend. So my girlfriends were like, girl, why don't you just move down here? And I had all these excuses. I was like, but my clients, my this, my that. And I was like, no, I can do this. And so just before COVID hit, I was like, okay, I'm going to move to Houston. So I got all my little belongings and I came on down. And then Slim Thug got the Rona. And when he got out, I was like, oh, shoot, now all the pretty girls are going to get it. So let me go back home. Okay. So I went
Well,
home
you
to
were
quarantine.
one of the pretty girls that was around him, were you?
Not to my
Oh,
knowledge.
thank God.
Not to my
Okay.
knowledge.
Have mercy,
So I
Lord.
went home quarantine, but then I came back in June. So basically, I have lived here since June.
Mhm.
And then it was in July that I found out I was cast for the show.
Mhm.
And I just thought, what a blessing, because literally at the top of the year, before I knew anything about this show, I said, I'm moving to Houston to find love. Then this show comes up where they're like, basically, ma'am, we'll help you.
Wow.
So I was like, look at God. I've been
So,
saying my prayers.
Prior to you actually, because I know it's been a short amount of time you've been here, and you said that
Right.
you feel like Houston is an ideal place to be
Oh,
single in.
girl. I'm a
How
kid
was
in
your
a candy store.
experience? Well, and given that there was a pandemic, but
Yeah.
what was your experience like prior to the show being single in
Dallas?
Houston? Houston.
No, it was really fun. Well, because I was meeting like my intellectual equals, and I was using like dating apps. So even on apps, like I met this guy, for Valentine's. I met him on a Tuesday. Girl, by Friday, we were in Costa Rica for Valentine's Day.
Where'd you meet him?
Tinder.
Oh.
Now, to be fair, he turned out to
Wow.
be a crackhead, but that's another
Oh,
story.
no. What?
Yeah.
Okay, so
didn't work
the
out.
situation has had its perks, and then the perks have kind of
Yeah.
canceled themselves out. He was a crackhead.
Well, cocaine, but it's the same thing. I don't want him to feel like just because it's cocaine, he fancy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know?
All right.
Yeah, no, so I don't give him the benefit of the doubt. That really angers him. He was like, it's not crack. I was like, it doesn't matter. I don't want to participate in this lifestyle with you, sir.
So he had a bias. And whether it's drugs or not, at least my experience in Houston, it hasn't, statistically, they actually came out with a survey a few years ago and said that Houston was one of the most, or one of the worst places for you to be dating in as a single person.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why
I think
it's
I
always
just have low
interesting.
standards.
Oh,
Maybe
okay. Well,
from
we're going to
Dallas,
work on
I
that.
have very basic, like very minimal problem standards. Because I will say the guy I dated after that, he was a little strange, and he had, and like I also met him. I met him on Bumble, so I was trying to elevate my,
Okay.
I was trying to be more classy.
That one I'm familiar with. I've been
You did
I've
some
been
Bumble
on
dating?
I've been on Bumble,
How'd it
yeah.
work out for you?
It's been a process, but you know what? Actually, I've recently been out on a few dates with someone from Bumble, and he's promising.
Great. Well, I do background checks,
Okay,
so you call me when you need one, honey.
that's
and then
right.
here's how I do them. Okay, give me his name and his date of birth, and I'll run it. If you don't hear back from me, all is well.
Yeah, and she means that in a very legal way because again,
Oh, yeah, I'm
Symone
an
is an
attorney.
attorney. She is an attorney, so she doesn't
So I have
mean
the
that like on a
software
stalker
and
way.
everything. No, not a stalker. And the reason I do that, so like I won't tell you every little bitty thing I found because I don't want to mess up your mind. We don't want to find problems that don't exist.
Exactly.
But I will let you know if it's some child support arrears. No, ma'am. I will let you know because that means there are children in the state of Texas who are going without.
Yes.
And he be up here trying to take you on a trip. He can't even board a plane because his
Amen.
passport gonna get garnished.
Mhm.
That ain't what you want.
That's not. And so, of course, we're going to tap into what your experience was like on Ready to Love coming up here next. So you all make sure to keep your radios locked in here. Have Symone Redwine in the studio for Women Crushing It Wednesday here on the All New Vibe, Houston's Culture, powered by KTSU 90.9. Michele McKnight here on the All New Vibe, the evolution of KTSU, Women Crushing It Wednesday. Symone Redwine in the building, and we got to get down to the nitty gritty because Ready to Love is a dating show. It's kind of a different dating show. It's not like Flavor of Love or anything like
no,
that, where
ma'am.
like you're sending someone off each episode or
We
whatever
are.
the case may be. Or
So we do have eliminations every episode. Either
Okay.
a girl or a guy goes home. But what's different than shows like Flavor of Love or The Bachelorette is that there are 10 women and there are 10 men. And
Okay.
each week the power changes. From one week, the girls send a guy home, and the next week, the guys send a woman home.
So basically, they're saying like you have no chance of being compatible with anybody in life. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Kind of like that. And really, like, they'll say, like, we have decided you're not ready to love. And really, the truth of the matter is you're not ready to love one of these candidates that are here. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? Because
Okay.
it's like, yeah, you can be an awesome person, but if if you're not attracted to anybody that's here and they're not attracted to you or whatever, then it does make sense for you to go home. 'Cause
Okay.
this is what you got in this COVID era.
Now, did you actually join the show to find love, or did you kind of do it, really just to, I don't know, maybe tap into the exposure of the show, or
No,
how did you do that?
I did it to find love. And what's funny is like frequently I was told, you're so guarded, you're guarded. And I realized after the show wrapped, I was like, well, hell yeah, I'm guarded. I think a component of why I was guarded is because
there's so many trash men out
I felt
here.
like, that, and then I felt like some of y'all, sirs, are here because you ready to be on TV. You not ready to love.
Yeah.
And I needed to know which one of you guys are here and you're sincere about love versus sincere about being on TV and becoming the next guru at whatever it is that you do. Because all of the guys are talented. Pretty much all of them have their own businesses and they're self-employed. That actually was unique to the prior seasons, right? Because the prior 2 seasons were filmed where they lived, which was Atlanta, and everybody went to work and did their everyday job. But due to COVID, we were in a bubble. We all had to go to this resort. So what changed is the pool of applicants, right? Girls and guys. You pretty much, everybody had to be self-employed.
Well,
because who else could leave their job for a
every
month?
man in Houston is a CEO. Let them tell it, And, and speaking of that, again, all of the cast members this season were from Houston. So Houston is a very big city, but it really is not, especially when you work in a business where you're out a lot, you're around a lot of the same people. If you go out in Houston, more than likely you're going to know somebody that probably tried to holler at one of your friends at the such.
That's what I hear.
Exactly.
Because that's how it was in Dallas.
And I feel like in these cities where you have like a lot of young Black professionals, it's just kind of something where, typically the people that are out are always going to be the people that are out. And it's a few of the guys I know on the show, maybe, 1 or 2 specifically.
Okay.
I've seen them in action, not recently, but, the last few years of such. Even, one specifically that always was trying to, holla, but his game was just a little weak. And he always never seemed like he was able to come up with the funds to take you on a real date. But then, always trying to get you to come to the crib and kick it. But
don't, like how they be like, I'm going to cook for you. Let me tell you something. I'm not the one. Don't you promise to cook for me on the first date. Because you know what I do? I watch the ID Network. And that's how you chop people up and you put them in their refrigerator, okay? You're not about to kill me in your house.
You do need to be cautious.
If you're going to kill me, you have to kill me in a public establishment.
I completely agree. So tell me then, in this process of elimination, with you dating on the show, it's kind of a blind dating situation, except you have cameras following you around. Right. Is this your first time doing a reality TV show?
Ever. And
so what was that dynamic like for you?
Weird. It was very weird. Okay, so first of all, I would frequently forget that I had my microphone on, and I talk to myself. So I'd be walking around like, girl, that nigga lying. Or whatever I was saying. I'm sorry, you had to bleep that. But I say whatever I say. He not telling the whole doggone truth. And I be thinking it through in myself, in my head or whatever. And then I'm like, oh, shoot, they can hear me. Well, then when you do that and then production hears you, all of a sudden, oh, boy, just pops up. And it's just you and him. And it's like, well, let me go talk to him about them lies. And it didn't dawn on me that that's how they work. And then all the hidden cameras. I was not ready for them hidden cameras. They got on my last nerve because what would happen is, since you live there, so we each had our own hotel room on the resort. And the rule was, the minute you step out of your room, you must be mic'd. You had to go and get mic'd, and you had to keep your mic on until you got ready to go sleep, basically.
Wow.
So it was some days you would be mic'd from 9 a.m. to 3 a.m. the next day.
Oh, that's too much.
And they got it all. Yeah.
And so I've heard with those reality shows, kind of like what you just said, because people always want to know, is this real or is this fake? With innocence, obviously, maybe what's happening.
I was probably a little too real.
And I think you always probably get different dynamics of people. People, obviously, that are on the show for different reasons, like you said. People that may be going on there for exposure purposes, or if they are actually going on there and genuinely looking for love. But, with that being said, I've heard where people are in situations where they're mic'd up, maybe they're on the way somewhere, and the producers are always listening. And so they kind of use that to fuel a situation for content purposes.
But, it's real, too, because I have to say, if you, a lot of times you'll go in the confessional, because the confessional is where it's just you and the camera. Sometimes there might be a producer in there to just kind of guide your questions, to have you elaborate on things that have happened, right? So you could go in that confessional, and you in there, you talking big talk, da-da-da-da-da, you know, maybe I don't like this person, or this and that, and then you get in that person's face, and you're like, doo-doo-doo-doo. So it's really interesting how that comes to play. So I actually am very much looking forward to the reunion.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I heard some rumors, but I'm going to let each episode air.
Okay.
See, I don't see what's said about me until it airs on TV.
Yeah.
But I know people be on my face smiling.
Yeah. Well, and I've seen a few of y'all out, you know, throwing some parties with each other. I've seen a few of the cast members that have been out, and you know, one specific, I don't remember what his name is, and I probably just need to just omit that from the conversation anyway, but
yes,
I saw him out,
okay.
And he just was talking to me about, he was something about some woman in the club who he didn't even know the girl he was talking about was a friend of mine. And
he liked it?
No, he actually, the funny thing is he was like, oh yeah, you know, this girl over there was hounding me about whatever. And it's funny because then he walked away to go to the bar to get a drink, and she walked over and she was like, who is this dude? She was like, because he was just all in my face. Like, and I was like, can I please like get my breathing room back or whatever? Like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's interesting, I think, to just kind of get people's take on an experience like that. And then even the aftermath of it, where now everybody's back in Houston. You all kind of know each other. Maybe you get together, you kick it now and then.
And I have to say, I like my cast members a lot more now than I necessarily
than you did when you were on the show. And that's probably because you got some time to get to know them. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely, you have more time. You're going through the same thing. We're all getting, you know, crap talked about us on social media, or this or that. And, also, I think I understand a little bit more about people's backstories, so they're less annoying.
I got you. Would you ever do another reality dating show?
It would really, you know what? It would depend on production.
Yeah.
If it was this crew, heck yes. I really like the producers on and I'm not just saying this because I have no reason to say it. Shoot, the show's over. I signed my contract. I say what I want. But I think... Now, hold on. Now, this could change after I see some more editing. But I think overall what I liked is when stuff would pop off, I felt like that it, and I'll go off in my microphone, right? Because I eventually got hip, and I'll be like, yes, and I say, and somebody will come running out the control room and be like, Symone, we are not that kind of show. If you feel like you need an opportunity to clarify the situation, you know, you can take some time. You can sit in this area or this area. You can ask that person to talk with you. Like I felt like I had opportunities to say certain things. Now, do I still think certain people are nuts? Yes. Do I still think certain people are full of boo-boo? Yes. But overall, like, I liked what they were trying to do. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I know I'm finna look crazy.
Yeah.
I just already know that.
But
I'm one of those people, like, and my best friend said this to me before I did that. She said, baby girl, you know, you have to understand, my homegirl's from Memphis. She was like, the thing about you, Symone, is you're one of those people that people either love you or they hate you. They're either like, I love Symone, or they're like, that witch is crazy. You know, it ain't, nobody is ever like, Symone's cool. I don't know. I don't know. So, you know, I just have to walk in that spirit.
Yeah, I got you. Well, again, if you can share with our audience when they can catch Ready to Love and when it airs and all of that great goodness.
Absolutely. So it's every Friday nights on the Oprah Winfrey Network. It's at 8 Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you don't have OWN, you can stream it on the OWN app. And it's on most major cable networks, too.
There you go. Symone Redwine here with Women Crushing It Wednesday on the All New Vibe. It's Houston's Culture. It's Women Crushing It Wednesday on the All New Vibe, the evolution of KTSU 90.9. Michele McKnight here with Symone Redwine, who is my guest. Women Crushing It Wednesday. You are definitely crushing it indeed. Of course, again, everybody can catch you on Ready to Love every Friday on OWN. But we don't want to forget the most important thing is that you are a boss babe out here and you are literally taking names and throwing them away. Well, let me not put it that way. You might be locking some people up out here, you know, if they're doing something criminally. But she is an acting attorney in the Houston area. So if anybody needs help with
an auto accident, 18-wheeler accident, or even a wrongful death of one of your loved ones, you can contact me at 855 for Symone, and that's Symone. You can also reach out. My website is www.esquirelitgroup.com.
Okay. And that's from a
Absolutely.
professional side. She ain't playing no games. But again,
Yeah.
Symone she's ready to live. She's looking for love. So if any guys want to reach out to you, Symone, then how can they get in touch with you on social?
All right, for men, if you want to get in touch,
For men.
just now hold on. Now I might have me a man from the show, and I'm gonna tell you, if I have a man, he could fight. So just tread carefully. But you can reach me on Instagram at Symone Redwine. I spell Symone with a Y, so it's Symone Redwine. And then my Twitter is girl. Is that legal? That's my Twitter. So
I love that. That is super cute. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for helping me host. And I do have to ask you, do you feel, I don't know, some sort of personal gratification, the fact that you have a legal background, our new vice president-elect has a legal background? Like, how does that make you feel?
I'm just so proud of her. I'm so proud of her. Like, it was such a monumental task, and she did everything so quickly. She rose from DA to senator. I think she's still in her first Senate term. She's in her first Senate term, and now is president-elect. And you know, Biden, he's not no spring chicken now. So if something happens to him or he decides to retire or resign, she would be the first black president.
First black female president.
Female president.
Yes.
Female president. Well, and the first female president
in general.
Period. And you know, usually the trajectory is you go from vice president to being running for president. So we shall see, but I'm so excited for her.
Does that kind of make you want to, at some point in time, look at politics and doing that transition?
No. I am
you
too
go
crazy.
Stay in your lane.
I am too crazy.
You've already been on reality TV too, so
yes,
it probably
I've
won't
already
work
been
out.
on that, and you know I'm not worried about that. But I tell the truth. You can't tell the truth as a politician all the time. No, you have to lie and say stupid things to stupid people to make them feel comfortable enough to vote for you. I mean, that's how Trump got 70 million idiots to vote for him.
And there you have it. Thank you so much again to Symone Redwine for being my guest for Women Crushing It Wednesday. Again, you can find her on Instagram. Is that legal?
Yes.
Is that legal?
Instagram is Symone Redwine.
Symone Redwine.
And Twitter
okay.
is that girl.
Twitter
is that legal.
Girl is that legal. And of course, we'll have those posted up on our Instagram as well at The Vibe Houston. But always, if there is a woman in the Houston area that you know that is doing great, good things and you want to nominate her, you can go to vibehouston.com. Or of course, you can slide in the DMs on our Instagram at The Vibe Houston or hit me up personally at Michele on Air, Michele on Air.